The morning was loud in the way crowded places always were footsteps echoing, voices overlapping, metal carts rattling over cracked pavement. The old man stood near the edge of it all, quiet and still, as if the noise flowed around him instead of through him. His coat was worn but clean, his cane resting lightly in his hand. He watched people pass with the patience of someone who had nowhere to rush. Across the space, the brute arrived like a storm. Heavy steps, sharp clatter. He pushed through the crowd without looking, shoulder-checking a young man, snapping at a woman who didn't move fast enough. He was angry at the world and eager to take it out on someone smaller. His eyes landed on the old man. "Well, look at that," the brute said loudly, stopping right in front of him. "Blocking the way already, Grandpa." The old man lifted his gaze slowly. His eyes were clear, alert. "You can go around," he replied, voice calm, almost polite. That calm irritated the brute more than any insult could have. He leaned in, invading the old man's space. "Or maybe you move. Ha, what are you gonna do about it?" People nearby slapped. A few pretended not to notice, but their ears were sharp. Trouble had a sound, and this was it. The old man shifted his cane slightly, not as a weapon, just adjusting his balance. "There is no need for this," he said. "Have a good day." That was the moment the brute decided to make it personal. "Don't talk to him like you're my teacher," he snapped. "You think being cold makes you untouchable." He lied, loud and cruel, expecting the usual reactions, fear, anger, maybe pleading. He got none of them. The old man simply looked at him. Not with defiance, not with fear, with understanding. As if he saw the outcome already and found it unfortunate. "Son," the old man said quietly, "you're standing where you shouldn't." The word son hit harder than any insult. The brute's face darkened. "You just asked for it," he growled. The crowd tightened, tension thick in the air. Somewhere, a phone camera clicked on. The old man straightened, ever so slightly, his posture changing in a way that was almost invisible but unmistakable. The calm around him wasn't weaknesses. It was control. And in that moment, before a single hand was raised, before the first shove, the mistake had already been made by the only man in the scene who thought strength come from size alone. The brute circled the old man like a predator that believed the hunt was already over. He cracked his neck, rallied his shoulders, enjoying the attention. The crowd had grown thicker now, people slowing, pretending to check their phones while watching every movement from the corners of their eyes. The air felt tight, like it was holding its breath. Still standing. The brute mocked. "You're braver than you look. Or dumber." The old man didn't respond right away. He planted his cane carefully on the ground, testing the surface, as if measuring something only he could feel. His breathing was slow, even. To anyone watching, he looked fragile. To anyone who knew better, he looked prepared. "You don't have to prove anything," the old man finally said. "Walk away." That made the brute look harder. "Prove something." He already did. He puffed out his chest. Everyone here can see was in charge. A nervous chuckle rippled through a few bystanders. The kind people make when they don't want to be involved. Someone whispered, "This is gone and bad." The brute took a sudden step forward, stopping inches from the old man's face. "Say it," he demanded. "Say you're scared." The old man met his eyes. "I'm not," he said simply. That answer flipped a switch. The brute shoved him harder this time. The cane slid half an inch, but the old man didn't fall. He adjusted, weight shifting smoothly, like someone who had practiced losing balance and finding it again 1,000 times. Murmurs turned to gasps. "You see that?" The brute barked to the crowd. "He thinks he's to." The old man straightened fully now, shoulders back. The ears seemed to settle differently on him, not as a burden but as a foundation. His voice dropped, low enough that only the brute could clearly hear. "Last warning." The brute raised his hands mockingly. "Oh, scary. What happens now, sensei?" He reached out again, aiming to grab the old man's coat. Time slowed, not for the crowd, but for the two men. The old man's eyes flicked to the brute's stance, his feet, the angle of his shoulders. He noted the tension, the imbalance, the wasted motion. Strength without control. Noise without purpose. The Brutus fingers brushed fabric. That was the line. The old man's cane lifted, not to strike, but to guide. His free hand came up at the same moment, precise and economical. The crowd didn't yet understand what they were about to see. But the old man did. And as the brute committed to his next move, convinced of his own dominance, the outcome was already decided quietly, decisively, and without merciful arrogance. The moment the brute grabbed the old man's coat, control shifted. It wasn't dramatic. There was no raw, no wild swing. Just a subtle turn of the old man's body, a steez that seemed almost slow, yet perfectly timid. The brute felt it before he understood it, his grip slid, his balance tilted, his own weight turning against him. What the, he muttered. The old man moved inside the brute's reach, close enough that the crowd collectively flinched. His cane hooked lightly behind the brute's ankle, not striking, just placing. At the same time, his shoulder pressed forward, guided by decades of muscle memory. The brute stumbled. Gasps rippled outward like a wave. Hey! Someone shouted. Stop it! But it was already past stopping. The brute tried to recover, throwing his weight forward, reeling on sheer mass to overwhelm him. That was the mistake. The old man shifted again, barely visible to the untrained eye, and suddenly the brute's strength had nowhere to go. His feet tangled. His breath caught. Pain exploded up his arm as the old man twisted his wrist, not violently, just far enough. The brute cried out, loud and shocked, more surprised than hurt. Let go, he barked. The old man didn't raise his voice. You're off balance, he said calmly. And angry men followed hardest. With a controlled push and a sharp step back, the old man released him. The brute staggered, windmilling his arms, crashing into a nearby bench. He didn't hit the ground yet, but his confidence did. Later did instantly. No one was smiling now. The brute stood there, chest heaving, eyes wide. He looked around as if the crowd had betrayed him. Did you see that? He snapped. He attacked him. No one answered. Because they had seen it. All of it. The old man adjusted his coat where it had been grabbed. His hands were steady. His breathing hadn't changed. He looked almost buried. You still have time, he said. Walk away. The brute hesitated. His arm throbbed. His pride screamed louder than his instincts, but something else crept in uncertainty. He had expected fear. He had expected weaknesses. He had not expected skill. You think you're special? The brute growled, forcing bravado back into his voice. You think that trick scares him? The old man met his gaze. No, he replied. I think what comes next will teach you. The crowd drew back, instinctively creating space. Even without understanding how, they knew the truth now. This wasn't a fight between strength and weaknesses. It was a lesson, halfway finished, with 30 seconds still to go. The brute lunged, Anger finally drowning out caution. He swung wide, putting everything into it, weight, rush, pride. It was the kind of it took meant to end things in one blow. The old man stepped through it. Not away. Through. His cane tapped the ground on as precise as punctuation. The brute's arm was guided past its target, his momentum redirected. In the same breath, the old man's hand closed around the brute's wrist, turning just enough to unlock pain without breaking bone. The crowd saw the big man's face change, confusion snapping into shock. Down, the old man said. The word wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. The brute tried to resist. 30 seconds earlier, that would have worked. Now his strength betrayed him. His knees buckled as the old man shifted his stance, foot sliding behind the brute's heel, cane pressing gently but decisively at the joint. The pressure wasn't violent. It was inevitable. At a ticket as the brute hit one knee. Gasps erupted. Someone swore under their breath. The old man leaned in close enough that only the brute could hear him. You're tense, he said calmly. That is why you're losing. The brute tried to pull away. Pain flared, sharp and immediate. His breath came out in a strangled sound. Panic replaced fury. He realized, too late, that every move he made only made it worse. Stop, stop. He choked. Less. The old man released the pressure instantly and stepped back. The brute collapsed forward, palms slapping the ground. He sank in the air like a drowning man, clutching his arm, eyes wide and wet. The crowd was silent now, no laughter, no phones raised. Just stunned awarenesses. I'm sorry, the brute blurted, words stumbling over each other. I didn't mean it. I swear. Less, I'm done. The old man studied him for a moment. Not with triumph. With finality. Apologies matter, he said. But timing matters more. The brute nodded frantically. I understand. I da, please. The old man turned away. Just like that. No victory pose. No glance back. As he walked, his posture softened again, the ears returning to his shoulders like a familiar coat. The cane tapped lightly, steadily, fading into the noise of the place. Behind him, the brute stayed on his knees, shaking, not from pain anymore, but from the realization that strength without discipline was nothing. People slowly dispersed, whispering, replaying the moment in their minds. Someone finally asked, who was that old man? No one answered. Because the lesson had already been delivered and it didn't need a name.